Yo, what's going on, everybody? Yugioh for you, and we got a lot of news we gotta cover in the next couple of videos, so we're gonna get right to the chase. We got OCG ban list, we've got a lot of new cards for tunes and red eyes and all that stuff. And look, you can see that I am clear of viruses thanks to AVG. Thank you, AVG, you're awesome. Anyway, so with the OCG list, I've already seen it, and like I say, I am in damn love with it. It is a really good list in my opinion. And OCG to me makes a lot of good ban lists. So let's get started with the banning of the Forbidden. The 4 Dragon Rulers are now banned, which is completely fair due to the fact that Galaxy Eyes, not Galaxy, but the Dark Matter Dragon, is just so amazingly good with these cards. It's just ridiculous, and I was expecting these guys to either be banned in TCG or OCG with Dark Matter, just for the pure abuse of these cards. So I am glad that they are now banned. Hopefully they will follow suit in the TCG, because I don't want to deal with Dark Matter or Dragon Ruler shenanigans. I was able to deck that was topping over in the OCG alongside Necrons and all that stuff. Then the final forbidden card is the El Shaddai Construct, which is pretty interesting. Construct, I can see why they banned it, because the fact that it already has like attached like effect, and when it is special summon, you can send a Shadow card from your deck to the Shadow Monster. I believe it's technically Shadow Monster from your deck to the graveyard, and that Shadow Monster gets its effect and allows your deck to like no tomorrow. So the banning of Construct is perfectly understandable. I personally prefer seeing Winda on the ban section, but just because Winda is annoying as fuck, but Construct does have more utility than Winda does in the deck. So for newly limited, we have Dark Demon with the new errata, and for those who are wondering what the errata is, we have it right here. You can only use the first effect of Dark Magician Chaos once per turn. During the end phase of this if this card was normal or special summoned this turn, you can target one spell card in your graveyard and add to your hand. That's the errata right there. Now the original text basically, upon its special summon, pretty much upon its summon in a sense, you got a free spell card back, and it wasn't once per turn. So you could basically continue to get back things like Monster War back to your hand, and it was a very spam, happy, good time card, which is the main reason why it was banned, and is now just being unbanned at 1 because of this errata. So Demok still a very, very powerful card, but not as powerful as it once was. So it'll be interesting how this card is played, and I could ever see this card being played in spell books to kind of get back their good spell book. So that's actually something I can see happening. Next up, a Kuri Bandit, which I can't think of, besides Dragon Rulers, I can't think of a deck that was using OCG that used Kuri Bandit very often. I'm sure there's an obvious deck out there that people can be crying in the comment section going, this deck, you dumbass, was like topping every single freaking turn, was like tier 0, and you used Kuri Bandits. Mathematician, I could definitely see that, why that went down to 1, considering the fact that it's a very powerful card. A lot of decks know she used it, and a lot of decks in TCG used it. But, you know, it's the OCG we're talking about here, so forget the TCG. Necros of Bryonic, which is hilarious. I remember some people at my locals that I go to whenever I actually can, I was telling that Brio was eventually going to be hit on the list. Not TCG, but OCG, because, you know, they're not gonna hit Brio and TCG, not just yet. And they're like, no, Brio's never gonna get hit because it's just a good utility card and keeps the deck synergy. And look at there, it got limited. It got fucking limited. So there you go. Bryonic is now at 1, which is awesome. And they just said, fuck your Necros, because Necros were just topping everywhere. Because, you know, they don't have Burning Abyss like we do, so Burning Abyss has a pretty good matchup against the Necros, but it was just topping everyone in OCG, and it needed to be dealt with in the OCG, so hitting the Bryonic is a very good card to hit, and it really will hurt the consistency of the deck a little bit more now, and just allow the deck to kind of come down back to earth a little bit more. Next, El Shadow Fusion, which of course is the quick play, which is very nice. They're doing more damage to Shadows, which is really good since that deck was still topping over in the OCG, just because it has a very good anti-meta type of playstyle to the deck, and getting rid of that quick plays is really nice. Now, it doesn't completely kill off deck, because there are different things they can still do, but it's a nice thing to have. Now, Necro Psycho, which I'm extremely happy that they limited that down in OCG, and hope that does happen TCG at some point in time. Necrocycle is the spell card that nurture allows you to ritual summon from your graveyard, which is completely stupid, and the deck did not need that whatsoever. So that's a very good power card that the deck has that is now at 1, so you kind of lose some of your synergy right there. Now, Sacrifice, Clifford's got hit, which is nice. And this thing is a very OP card, and it's one of the most powerful. It's one of the best cards in the freaking deck outside of Scout. So it is something that I really need to go down to 1. And Vanity's Emptiness being hit to 1. I hope this kind of happens in TCG, but I don't really see it happening right now. Maybe in April, I don't really know. But if I can hit down to 1 in OCG, which is nice, it's pretty much Roller Oppression 2.0, the way it's being used. And it's something that stops special summons, and Konami, even OCG, doesn't really like that because that kind of prohibits things. So that's actually something I saw coming. Now, new sim limit is Manchu of the 10,000 hands. Just pretty much, I believe that was I think they, remember correctly, it was limited right now, and now they're going to semi-limit it since they got rid of a Necrocycle. Pretty much they limited that. Now it gives you another way to search out the Necrocycle, more options to search it out, so that's not too bad. Clifford Scout going down to 2 is really nice. It's starting to hit Clifford, which is really good. It's getting to that time where they're going to start hitting the deck anyway because they want to push more Pendulum decks. And if you're going to play a Pendulum deck, what would you rather play? Like the normal Pendulum deck or Cleaforts? You know, Cleaforts is a much more better Pendulum deck than other Pendulum decks out there. So, that's nice. Wind-Up carries Z-Money is now at 2, which is really nice. Wind-Ups aren't doing anything in OCG. They haven't done it, even though I think it went to 1 at first anyway. So, this would be interesting to see if it comes back to 2. When it comes back to 2, how Wind-Ups will adjust to that, so that'd be kind of interesting. And for all the Synchrones at 2, not that big of a deal, really, because we have it at 3 over here, and it's not a really big nuisance outside of some of the Quasar plays that can happen, but other than that, it's not that big of a deal. Next up for the Unlimited, which is at 3, we have Arsa Christia, which is no big deal there. If you're playing Christia, you normally just play 2 anyway, you don't really play 3, so it's not super high and mighty. Insector Hornet, you know, why not? Dragonfly's still at 1, Insectors aren't doing anything, and this won't make Insectors become a top tier deck again, because they still need that Dragonfly at 3 for that to happen. So the Hornet going to 1, going to 3 is not that big of a deal. A little bit of a nuisance, yes, but other than that, not that big of a deal. Then we have Brother of the Firefist Rooster to pretty much help out the Reactions Firefist, because that deck is nowhere to be found. Then we have Burner, Lightning, Stream, and Reactant, the 4 baby dragons. You know, with the Ruler's Band, they can come back to 3 because really, who's going to use them, you know, because they're not really useful anymore. Singed 1,000 Hands, pretty much, I guess, to help out the Necros a little bit since they kind of butchered their asses on this list, hitting all their key cards. So that's actually, you know, nice there. Sinister Serpent is at 3. I was looking at the decks that were topping Overnote. I haven't really seen Sinister Serpent at all, which is kind of crazy because it's one of those cards you think would just be like OP as fuck, but really did not do anything. So that's actually pretty interesting. Winda is at 3, which is like, what? They banned the construct and unlimited Winda, which, to be honest, Winda is one of the most annoying cards in Shadows. It's one of the cards I just fucking hate playing against, just coming across against in Shadows. But Construct just allows you to deck the deck. It allows you to do more than Winda does. Winda just stops shit. Construct is more utility. It allows you to deck then. It just gets a lot of things going. So, Construct being banned, Winda going to 3, is not that big of a deal. Shein going to 3 is kind of interesting because they still have Gibby at 1, and you've been noticing that every once in a while 6 stamps have been popping up in tournaments and hopping. So, will this be Return of 6 Samurais? Probably not, but it's still interesting to see that they did this, and it's something you probably wouldn't see in TCG. Number 11, Big Eye. Well, with the Dragon Fighter's banned, Big Eye doesn't really need to be at 1 anymore, so that's that. Monster Gate to pretty much push the Infernoid even more. Temple of the Kings and Exchange of Spirits, 2 cards that people aren't really playing in OCG land as of right now. Pretty much just fun little cards. Exchange of Spirits is a fun little card, and Temple of the Kings is a fun little card you want to dick around with. But they're not really game-breaking cards anymore. But overall, I like this list. It's really nice, and I agree with a lot of their choices. You know, definitely too hard. So, hopefully, maybe the TCG list might be good. I'm not really holding my breath on that due to the fact that a TCG, the lists are pretty mediocre and pretty much have been stale for the past couple of formats. Ever since TCG and Yoshi split, this list have been pretty stale. Outside the very first list, which really shook things up. But other than that, I like the OCG list, and hopefully the TCG list is pretty good and they do shake things up, because OCG knows how to shake the game up. So anyway, give me your thoughts on this in the comment section below. I'm really interested in seeing what you guys have to say about this ban list. And yeah, so anyway, I'll see you guys in the next video. Go over more freaking news.